Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Abe is on edge over captive Cleo, and Joel trying to get in touch with her is adding pressure. Cleo tentatively suggests that maybe it's time for her to come home from Bali and be together on the outside. This just frustrates Abe, who shuts it down, saying that Cleo would be vilified. He claims that he has forgiven her for his mum's death, but the village haven't. At the same time, Leela is nervous about her hospital induction the following day, but Joel reassures her that everything will be fine. It's poignant as Leela discusses unrequited love. Later, Joel receives a voicemail from Cleo, telling him to leave her alone. Leela is furious that he has messaged her ex and sends him fleeing. Before she can be induced, Leela's waters break. Abe goes in the ambulance with Leela. Joel is unaware that she has gone into labor. Alone in the flat, Cleo ventures around the living room. Leaving Price Slice below, Joel thinks he has heard her voice singing. Meanwhile, Mercedes tells Grace that she needs help to administer her illegal drugs, but her nemesis Grace isn't listening. Mercedes is desperate but icy. Grace says she doesn't care. Elsewhere, Jack is worried about Darren being missing as he has left his mobile. But Nancy is less concerned with the family to look after and believes that Darren is being flaky. Morgan is sick, Frankie is upset, and while Jack continues pushing the police to take the disappearance seriously, Nancy is preoccupied with juggling the home without Darren. The village is settling down for the evening as Joel Dexter returns to his flat, the weight of recent heartbreak still hanging heavily over him. His breakup with Cleo McQueen was a painful chapter that he's desperately trying to close. He's thrown himself into his work at the church, volunteering more hours and seeking solace in helping others, hoping it will ease the ache of her absence. But the pain lingers, especially in the quiet moments when he's alone. And soon the quiet becomes anything but restful. An uneasy presence. Joel's life without Cleo has left him feeling like a stranger in his own home. Their memories are woven into every inch of the flat. The faint scent of her perfume still clings to the cushions, and her favorite book remains on the shelf, untouched since the day she left. Despite his best efforts to move on, Joel can't bring himself to remove these remnants of Cleo from his life. One evening, Joel is pacing the living room, reciting his sermon for the next day. It's a passage on forgiveness and letting go, themes he's struggling to embody. As he speaks, his voice echoes in the empty flat, but then, unexpectedly, he hears another voice. A soft, unmistakable whisper, "Joel." He freezes, feeling a chill run down his spine. It's Cleo's voice, clear as day, calling his name from the other room. Convinced he must be imagining things, Joel shakes his head, mumbling to himself, "Get it together." He laughs off the encounter, chalking it up to fatigue. But as the nights pass, the voice doesn't disappear. In fact, it grows louder, whispering his name with an urgency that borders on desperation. Each time he hears it, he searches the flat, half expecting Cleo to be standing there. But every time he finds nothing. His heart sinks a little more with each empty search, wondering if he's finally losing his grip. Confiding in friends, Joel tries to ignore the haunting voice, hoping it's a passing phase. But his sleep grows restless, the whispers following him into his dreams, pulling him back to memories of Cleo and the love they shared. The voice begins to consume his waking hours, and Joel finds himself avoiding the flat as much as possible, lingering at the church long after he's needed, throwing himself into long runs, and even spending nights on friends' couches. But wherever he goes, the voice follows him, haunting him. Eventually he confides in his close friend, Steve, always the pragmatic friend, listens patiently before suggesting that Joel might be hearing Cleo's voice because he hasn't truly let go of her. He gently reminds Joel of all they've been through, how hard Cleo tried to get her life together, and how difficult it must have been for her to leave. Joel brushes it off, but Steve's words linger in his mind. He begins to wonder if he's truly over Cleo, or if her absence has only intensified his feelings. Then he finds himself alone again in the flat one evening, still hearing her voice as he moves from room to room. Finally, he decides to confront the ghost in his head. "Cleo," he calls out, his voice echoing in the silence. "If you're here, say something." The room is silent for a heartbeat, and he starts to feel foolish. But then from behind him, he hears a whisper,
"Discovering
"Joel,
clues, help me."
Spurred on by the plea, Joel decides to go through some of Cleo's belongings that she left behind. He opens a drawer filled with her old letters and mementos, and among them, he finds a small battered notebook with Cleo's handwriting scrawled on the cover. Flipping through it, Joel is struck by pages filled with her private thoughts, many of which reveal the depth of her struggles with self-worth, guilt, and the pain of their complicated love. As he reads, Joel's guilt intensifies. He realizes how little he truly understood about Cleo's internal battles, how often she'd hidden her pain from him to avoid burdening him. She'd left not because she didn't love him, but because she thought it was the only way to keep him from feeling trapped. His chest tightens with regret, and the whispers now feel less like hauntings and more like a call to action. Cleo is out there somewhere, and for the first time, Joel feels he has a responsibility to find her, to make things right. The voice grows louder. The following night, Joel's sense of purpose is unwavering. He's determined to track down Cleo and find out if she's okay. But just as he's about to leave the flat, the voice returns, louder than ever. "Joel." It calls, filled with fear and urgency. He spins around, but there's no one there. He follows the voice to a drawer by the bed, one he rarely opens. Inside, he finds a small, torn photograph of him and Cleo, a fragment from happier times. Beneath the photo is a note scrawled in Cleo's handwriting that he hadn't noticed before. "I'll always love you, even when I'm far away." The message sends a shiver down his spine. Is it a goodbye or a call for help? With new determination, Joel reaches out to Cleo's cousin, Liberty, who agrees to help him track her down. Together, they start piecing together Cleo's last known whereabouts, from social media posts to mentions of unfamiliar towns. Liberty recalls a recent post from Cleo, showing a small seaside village she visited weeks ago. It's a start, and Joel wastes no time. Facing the unknown. As he prepares to leave for the village, Joel stops for a moment in the flat, feeling the weight of the silence that once haunted him. He closes his eyes and hears Cleo's voice one last time, a soft whisper of thanks. The strange peace that follows reassures him. He feels as though she's urging him on, leading him closer to her. As Joel sets off on his journey, he's filled with a renewed sense of purpose. Whether the voice was real or a manifestation of his unresolved feelings, he's certain of one thing: he can't ignore it any longer. Cleo needs him, and he won't rest until he finds her. With each step, he feels his connection to her strengthening, a silent promise that he'll bring her back to Hollyoaks where she belongs. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our Hollyoaks Update YouTube channel for more update news.